idea of what that character is and tells you about it. It is not your job to take that carte blanche and stay within it, because nobody is just one way. But how did that person get to be that way? Where did that come from? Where is that going? Is it good for humankind, or is it just talk? And that's why we are so wonderful, because we can have all of these thoughts that are just as valid as what I believe. And just because I have a microphone and can reach you all the way in the back doesn't mean that you in the front or in the back have to accept everything I say. Naturally, I wish you would, if you were smart enough. Don't we all feel that way? That's the way a lot of things don't happen, because you think them up and then you convince yourself, nah, that couldn't be possible. Gene Roddenberry didn't feel that way. He would think something up, or somebody would come along and think something to him, and he'd take it home and think about it. And sometimes something marvelous happened out of it that you thought he just created. And he did, because someone laid it out there, or a piece of it, and that's what thoughts are. They grow, or they just sit there until someone comes along and says, that's pretty interesting. I never thought about that. How many times have you said that? I never thought of it that way. And then that will never leave your mind, by the way. So you might as well take it and think about it. Whether it's good or bad, or, not so good. Because nothing is good or bad. It's something that makes sense?
Thank you.
Sure. Hi. I like your gloves.
Thank you.
I signed you.
Thank you. So Zoe Saldana plays another version of Uhura in the new Star Trek movie. Have you had the opportunity to meet with her and give her some of your insights about the character?
I was doing the last Star Trek film that I did was when I met her, and I think she was about to do that, or maybe it was another movie I was doing. But she came on the set, and I met her, and I recognized her name as the one who was going to now do my role. And, and I was fascinated, and she turned out to be this wonderful person who not only loved being cast in this, so she had loved Star Trek, but now she's going to play Uhura, and to her she's now going to be Nichelle Nichols playing Uhura, who played Uhura. So she wanted to talk to me about it, pick my brain. And so we talked and we talked and we talked, and then I told her, but everything that we've talked about doesn't mean a manna to a pile of beans if you don't take it and put yourself into it, because that's how it grows. That's how characters grow. So I hope that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there.
My question is, who would you have rather kissed? Come.
You.
Shatner?
You.
Well, thank you. Who would you rather kiss, William Shatner or Leonard Nimoy? Personally, I like both women, so I mean, hoping that my husband is good.
Well, let me think about it. Go right ahead with what you were talking about. I'm gonna be thinking about this. I'm gonna think about this for the next 40 years. It depends on what day it is.
Good enough for me.
Thank you.
Hello. So I am familiar with some of your...
Where'd you get that beautiful curly hair?
My father?
Your dad?
Mm-hmm.
What does your mom's look like?
It's not as curly, but it's also pretty curly.
It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You see this beautiful curly hair? Thank you.
I'm interested to hear your opinion as you and your character and Star Trek have all been icons for equality, not least among which have been the issue of race. And I'm interested to hear your opinion from one actor to another on race and its place now in the entertainment industry and how it's grown and what still is left to do.
The question is, is left to do, still to do?
Sure, yeah.
I think, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know what's still to do, if anything. I don't know if it ever was. It simply is. It becomes what it becomes when you question it. And then if you question it and it is there in your mind strong enough for you to examine it and disagree with it and yes, then it becomes something fresh and new because it's out of you. You might do the same thing and it's not fresh and new, it's just, okay? And at some point in time, you're forced to think about it past, So, thoughts are things, including, that's a thought on it, but if we must always respect the fact that we think about something. It's the most precious gift that God gave us. And she knows what she's doing. Doesn't she? But you see what I'm saying? Because I might be totally right, those of you who clapped. God is not male or female. God is. And God bless it, that it is so. But to get back to your question again?
I guess just your opinion on how race is treated in the entertainment industry.
Race is treated just like anything else is treated. We are taught to think a certain way. And at some point in time, because we have minds that are, yours is not yours and yours is not his, we think in a different way. We think deeply about what that, or we dismiss it. At some point in time, if enough people start thinking a certain way or examining, then other people come along and say, well, I didn't think that was such a big deal. And suddenly you're thinking about it. And suddenly a lot of other people are thinking that way or not, or thinking a third way or a fourth way or another way. And in so doing, you have something worth thinking about, because it can create a whole other way of living. I remember that when Star Trek first came out and became popular, and we went out to the entire audience was white. It wasn't that there were no black, brown, yellow, red, or green other people looking at it and enjoying it. It's just, it wasn't, we didn't communicate together like we do now. We don't even think, we don't even have to think about it, right? And so, one of the great things about Star Trek it opened up that whole avenue, this huge avenue of communication, because you do want to know what that person is thinking about and how it's different from what you think. And you do want to know what that person is thinking about, because it's the same as you think. It corroborates how you think. And then out of that grows life. Not the kind that's in the belly that comes out into the, but grows that. But it is. And from that people, well, I never thought about it that way. Then somebody else comes along and thinks about it that way, and somebody else comes along and thinks about it. And if we had a box that could listen through electricity and set it on the stage, a person could hear themselves and realize that other people are hearing them, and realize that you, way back there, may or may not be listening to me, but I think you are, because you're quiet and attentive and thinking. And if I say something that you agree with, even sometimes the ones that are not clapping are going, yeah, I can dig that, you know. Or, there goes another one of those people who you know. But that's what makes people so interesting. And that makes me very, 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 very proud that I'm one of the people. A people. Aren't you? Aren't we? We are the people. Because we have this ability, this mind, and this ability to think. And as we think, even we argue our thinking, don't we? To ourselves, we argue ourselves Well, no, on the other hand, we do it all the time. So we're constantly thinking, arguing it, refining it, dismissing it, growing it, and the world is either better for it or until somebody else sees it another way. The human race is just about the greatest thing that God put on this earth, or beyond the earth, because why it's so important that we are who we are on earth, we are thinking, finally, it's not just the moon up there. For years and years here. Well, the moon comes out at this time because we need it to shine down on us. That's such a fun. And so, you didn't tell the moon what to do. You use it. But you know, it makes something that you can relate to. And then you want to know more about it. What's on that moon that shines at a certain time in the day? And why? Why now when where was it when the sun was shining? And we start, in other words, we start questioning. And the more we question, the more we create something that nobody thought of. Well, that's not true. Somebody did think about it, thought of it, but you did something with it. That's the difference. That's the difference. You can think it and think, you say, they've got this out here now, I thought of that, I was thinking of it. You didn't do anything about it. But now you can use it. Yes, now you can use it. Because somebody went ahead and did the next step and the next step. Maybe you stopped there and somebody came and picked it up from there. So, makes sense? Thank you. Thank you for the question. Good question. Hi there.
Hi, Ms. Nichols. As a fellow musician, I had no idea you could sing. I've been a fan of Star Trek for only 4 years, though, but still, I had no idea you could sing. You have a great voice.
From the time I was this high, I came out singing. My father swears it. He delivered me. So he swears the first thing I did was hit high C. And he promoted it, you see. In other words, she's screaming again, shut that child up. You know, the child is trying to communicate. Remember? Yeah, he's going. How did she?
So my question is, are you still friends with your fellow cast members, such as Bill Shatner and Leonard Nimoy?
Never have not been.
I'm sorry?
I never have not been friends with them. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to agree with somebody all the time to be friends or to be glad they're breathing the air that you breathe. I don't have to agree with certain people that sit in a certain chair on a starship, but I will follow him to the ends of the earth because he knows what he's doing. Just because I don't like how he, or how many of them he it has nothing to do with what he can really give to the world. Same thing with me. Same thing with you. Each and every one of us has something to give to this world. or then what the hell are we doing here? Right? What are we doing here if we're not making it better? Better than those that are trying to make it worse, you know? Make sense? Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? What do you want? Okay.
We have time for one more question.
I have time for about 5,000 more questions, but I can only take one more.
You can take the rest downstairs.
Oh, I can take the rest downstairs. No, I can't. I can sign your autograph downstairs.